Okay, so that's kind of going through the games. What would you say are your 5 games to watch this week?
And I have to rank these two, don't I? Okay.
You don't have to rank them. Just choose 5. That's what I've been doing. It's okay.
Okay. So I'm going to start out with Miami A&M just from a pure train crash element. Like this thing could really crash and burn for A&M if Miami comes out and gets up early. I think that would be awesome. I would love every second. Penn State Auburn is number 2 for me. It was a really good game last year up in Happy Valley. It's going to be absolutely electric at Jordan-Hare this Saturday. Number 2, I think that's must watch. BYU Oregon, really good game. BYU is they were underrated coming into the year. They have popped off clearly. They've beaten good teams, even going back to last year. Some of the teams they beat were really good football teams. BYU is just a good program right now, and we're trying to see what Oregon has. Depth wise, like where are they after getting shellacked early on by Georgia? What is Dan Lanning doing? How are they developing? That would be game number 3 for me. We mentioned Mississippi State, LSU.
Yep.
Again, the train crash factor. Sign me up for all of that. All these train crashes. I will be watching that one. That's game number 4, and I'm going to finish up with Michigan State, Washington, 7:30 on ABC. Number 5 for me.
So sadly, we have exact agreement. We did not talk about this beforehand. Those are my 5 as well. I think there was a few other options that were intriguing to me. For example, Liberty. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong game. Texas Tech at NC State.
Sure.
You could talk me into Texas Tech at NC State. I just said that. UTSA at Texas, if it was actually watchable.
Right.
So, I don't know. But yeah, those are kind of the clear 5. It did seem like a pretty clear top 5 games this week. Sure. Not quite the same depth of just amazing games as we had in week 2. This is maybe the last huge week of non-conference games.
Well, like we kind of get into that a little bit where like week 1 is so good and week 2 has a lot of good games. Week 3 is kind of a struggle. Like there's good football games there, and some of these games are going to be close, but like outside of Miami A&M, there's not. Well, I get outside of Miami A&M and then BYU Oregon, there's not just these games that are popping. You know what I mean? Like if Penn State was more highly ranked and if Auburn was highly ranked, that one would have a little bit more luster maybe. Right now they're not. And yeah, it's in another year this could have been a really good week. Right now it's okay. It's a week of college football, which is fantastic. But it's going to get better here in the weeks to follow.
Yeah, there's 2 ranked on ranked matchups, and they involve number 24 and number 25. So
yeah, right.
Okay, so let's get into the locks. Ashton.
Okay.
You're the one. You're at 6-2. We'll let you go first here. What are your locks for week 3?
Okay. USC covering 12 at home against Fresno State. For me, that's the side. I had success with it last week. Just barely. They made me sweat it out there at the end, even though they were comfortably in control of that game almost the whole way and tried to give it up there at the end.
Lock agreement, by the way.
Do we? Okay, awesome. Nice.
Yes.
Number 2 for me, and by the way, I may not be I did four locks the first week, 4 the second, which I may actually be kind of trending back a little bit. I don't see just a ton of value on the board this week. I know you bet like just an absolute degenerate gambler. You just spray the board with all kinds of bets. So I'm scaling back. I don't know if you are. I'm personally scaling back. I don't see as much value. But I will be taking Miami to cover the 5.5 on the road. I don't see the downside here, man. Like, yeah, A&M could really, they could. There's a possibility they could. I guess I could see how it would happen. Is if, they get a little bit of offense rolling early and the defense locks down and they, they win the game, 27-20 or something like that. If Miami gets up, A&M could fold. Like I do actually think that they could fold. So
is there a chance Max Johnson plays this game?
Then why not play him even a snap last week? Yeah. Like he didn't even get a snap last week, and that offense was terrible. Like there was nothing in the second. There's no reason not to put him in for a drive or 2 in the second half. just to see if he can move the ball at all against App State. There's no reason not to do that. So last week showed to me that they're pretty much Haynes King or bust. And it's not looking pretty. Like I'm not on that. So I will be taking Miami. Those are the only two I have now. I have a couple kind of in the hopper. Those are the only two I'm feeling confident on.
I agree with that one as well. I'm also making that one of mine.
Okay.
I think that the way it goes wrong is if they're down by 14 at halftime, so they bring in Max Johnson and he lights it on fire somehow. I don't know. I guess I could see that. But just comparing, I mean, you have Tyler Van Dyke against Haynes King, and the Haynes King we've seen so far. Yeah, I'm not even sure that Miami's better than A&M or will win the game, but it feels like this is A&M by a field goal, maybe something like that, or whatever. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to throw in Oklahoma minus 11 against Nebraska. That line just keeps falling and falling and falling. I don't know. I think this is as much of a faith in Oklahoma to win this game by 2 touchdowns as it is anything. I know Nebraska always loses by 1 score. I think that maybe Nebraska's a little more normal now after Scott Frost. Like, I don't know, maybe they just become normal. I do think the way they hung around last year was with their defense, and their defense is nowhere near the same this year. I think Oklahoma's going to put points against them, and I'm just not sure they're going to be able to keep it anywhere close. So I'll take Oklahoma minus 11. Talk me out of BYU plus 3.5.
I have no good reason there. Let me just think a little bit about it. Possibility that, kind of a letdown, like BYU a little overinflated coming off of that win against Baylor. What really was Baylor? Like, so they went and they beat Baylor in double overtime. But what was Baylor? Like, they were ranked number 9, but we're not really sure if there was any substance to that. So maybe they're thinking that, number 12 is too high. Like, they didn't actually beat a top 10 team. We don't view Baylor as a top 10 team. Mm-hmm. And we view Oregon as simply just getting bludgeoned by the best team in football right now. And Oregon's a little underrated. Like, I guess like that's maybe where they're at. I could see it. How
about this? They just played Baylor, and Baylor is very physical. So maybe there's a body blow theory here where playing a physical team like Baylor, Oregon can be physical.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I think I'm just going to back off on this one. I'm going to pull it off my board. Just because part of it is, like you said, I've been spraying the board pretty heavily. Last week I texted you. I texted you last week, like the day or 2 after we recorded, and I said I already regret like 3 of my picks. One of those was Notre Dame, and sure enough, I shouldn't have picked Notre Dame favored by 3 touchdowns. I'll show a little bit of restraint here. I'll pull that one off. Here's another one I really like. Minnesota is playing Colorado this week, favored by 27.5. Air Force just slaughtered Colorado, and Minnesota's really good. I think Minnesota wins this game by at least 4 touchdowns, and I don't know that it's going to be all that difficult. So I'll take them there. Those are all of my locks for spreads. I have a couple unders, though.
Okay. I want to throw a few out real quick on spreads yet before we move off. Mm-hmm. LSU covering home dog. I love that, especially home night game in Baton Rouge. I'm taking all of that. Brian Kelly, Mike Leach. Like, yes, let's go. Okay. So I have LSU covering, they're getting 2 at home. I think they'll probably even just win outright. So I'll be moving on that one.
I can do 1.5 for you.
Even better. No,
that's worse because they're not favored. I'm sorry.
We're not going that way.
We'll do plus 2. The other way. Plus 2.
There you go. If you give me 2.5, that would be.
I don't see a 2.5, so I'll give you LSU plus 2.
I think that's it for me. I'm a little tempted on Ole Miss minus 16 against Georgia Tech. I don't think Georgia Tech's great, even though it is a home game for them. I like Ole Miss's offense. I think they're going to be just fine. I would be trending that way maybe a little bit. I'm not going to pull the trigger on it, but it will be one of those that, it's an almost.
Why not? What could possibly go wrong?
I'm betting on Lane Kiffin. I don't bet on Lane Kiffin. It's an early rule. Yeah, I don't do that.
Okay. So I have a few unders here that I really like. Maybe I can talk you into these. One of them is Nevada, Iowa. The over-under is set at 40.5.
Way too high. That's way too high.
I think that Nevada is getting shut out by Iowa, and I cannot see a world where Iowa scores 6 touchdowns. So I'm going Nevada, Iowa under 40.5.
Oh,
Come on, jump on it. You know you want to.
so badly. So badly. I get people tell me that I'm like just an Iowa hater. Like I'm not. Like I'm really not.
Yeah, you kind of stand up for their style of offense, even like
I
just
do
the
a
running
little
the
bit.
ball.
Yeah. I'm ball control. It is absolutely terrible though, dude. How do you not get a new offensive coordinator in the offseason? Like there were offensive names out there that you could have went and got. Like I don't understand. You mentioned Joe Brady. Joe Brady would have came back to college if he could have gotten an offensive coordinator job. He did not. Like that means that you did not go pursue that. Like imagine Iowa trying to play a little bit up tempo. I know it's a whole different style change, but like why not? It's so bad right now. You can't win by scoring 7 points. They've scored a total of 14 points this year. Like that's Iowa. 14 total points. Like you're not going to win many games. Yeah, you're right. I really do want to join you on that one. I'm going to show restraint and not.
Okay.
I already made my money betting against them last week. I would do. They're going to have like a couple of. They might not score these touchdowns on offense. They're going to block a couple of punts, maybe run something back, pick 6 or 2. Suddenly it's 46-10. And like what Iowa scores. Yeah, well, you didn't realize that they scored all these, on defense and special teams. That's where I'm going with it. I'm just staying away right now.
All right, I have one more. That is Louisiana Tech, Clemson. That total is at 54.5. Similar in that I think that La Tech is going to struggle to score at all against Clemson, and I feel like this is the classic Clemson wins 36-10 type of game. Like just they're not going to put up huge points because they're not going to try. I don't believe. I think they're going to go up. They're going to just strangle La Tech, and they're not going to worry about putting up huge points. 42-3 maybe.
That's tempting. I will say that is tempting. I'm just gonna avoid that one.
Sure.
I like where your head's at there. I don't mind that at all. Do you have any overs at all? Any
No,
overs
I'm done. I'm out. I'm
okay.
out.
No, okay. I was just gonna say, like, betting the Iowa under is just a classic way to make money, and I can't believe I'm avoiding that because, like, since when have they hit an over? But Western Michigan may be covering the 10 against Pittsburgh, like a bit of a letdown game for Pittsburgh. This is on the road. Western Michigan might have something there. They beat a pretty good one. They won by 7 against Ball State last week. I'm not going to pull the trigger on that. I'm just going to stay with just the 3 that I have right now. You have how many? What's your total?
I have is it 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6. I'm going down by 1 every week. I had 8 in week 1, 7 last week, and now 6 this week.
Gotcha. Well, I'm just going to stay with 3.
Sure.
I'm just going to hold with 3 this week, and just stay on the winning side. You know what that means? I can lose every single bet, and I can still come on the show next week and say that I'm still making you money because technically I still would be. So
yeah. Okay.